Well, welcome back to. I forgot what our podcast is called. What is it called?
Raise a glass.
Raise a glass. Okay.
I'm gonna put that in.
Well, welcome back to Raise a Glass, the podcast where we talk about the stories and storytellers that shape us. My name is Eric Lintela.
And I am Hunter Danson.
And this is just a little bit of a teaser for what is going to be heading your way in season 3. Hunter, we're doing a couple new things this season that I'm very, very excited about. I think it's going to feel, in many ways, one of them in particular is going to feel more like us,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of than I think anything we've done so far.
Yeah. Yeah, that is music, live music. Hopefully, Eric and I are in the process of getting all the, gear set up so that, Eric and I can pick up a guitar or a bass in the middle of an episode or at the beginning of an episode, and share music as we're doing the podcast or at the beginning. I think it would be great, if we're doing talking about an artist or something, would help us to kind of say more than just words about how they've shaped us.
Yeah, I think that you'll hopefully get an idea for the way in which the musical instruments that Hunter and I have spent years of our lives with are in many ways parts of us and can communicate things that we can't. So that's the first one, and that's the main one. And I would encourage everybody to listen to the podcast with high quality speakers, whether they're headphones or AirPods. I just know that when I've listened to some of our musical episodes from my phone without speakers, and I've got a brand new phone. I've got a pretty high quality phone. There's no bass that comes through. It's just guitar, and you might have the idea of it, but having speakers or headphones that give you that space, like selfishly as a bass player, I want you to hear it, but also it really gives a much better understanding of kind of what's being communicated of that. Especially if we're going to be if I'll be playing some during an episode or Hunter playing guitar, it'll just hopefully allow for, I don't know, a more a better experience of the podcast. And I'm excited that the second one is this season. We are going to have, in many ways, like a showrunner book that we're going to be discussing.
Yeah.
And Hunter, do you want to share a little bit about it?
Yeah. I was trying to think of a way that we could do longer books on the podcast, because I think, one, it's a lot of work for us to prep in a week, but we love books.
That we do.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear if you've listened. And so I had the idea of doing a book, just doing like 100 pages of a book at a time, or something. We could do it probably. I think we're planning to do once a month. We're going to do one episode that is, 100 pages of East of Eden by John Steinbeck. It is a book that I have read before, but I blew through it because I couldn't put it down. I love Steinbeck a lot. I don't think you, Eric, have quite the same love of Steinbeck as I do.
I love Travels with Charlie, and that is it.
Yeah. But I'm really excited for East of Eden. I think when people think of Steinbeck, they think of Grapes of Wrath and of Mice and Men, because that's what they were forced to read in high school. But
way before you're mature enough to read it.
Yeah. But East of Eden is really a great ride. It's one of the Steinbecks where I think it's one of the most balanced ones where he's not, because Grapes of Wrath is so heavy, which it has to be. He's talking about the depression, and it's one where he really wants to, give you a gut punch that is ultimately good for you, but is maybe not the most pleasant thing while you're reading it. But East of Eden is different. It's serious, but it's also very fun. And Steinbeck, if you've read Travels with Charlie, he's got a sense of humor, and I'm really excited about it. And if you want to pick up a copy, you can read along with us as we, go month to month. 100 pages might sound like a lot, but if you break it up, it's really can be quite manageable.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing it currently through Audible, so
nice.
25-hour listen.
Yeah,
I'll probably get the physical book as well. I'm hoping it's some.
And we'll probably do it like chapter to chapter, just everyone has different editions and stuff, and so.
Hunter, there's a few other things coming up this season. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm expecting at least 2 different guests, maybe 3, on the show this season, discussing various types of storytelling. I think there's a musical we want to discuss, a book series we want to discuss, a video game series we want to discuss.
Yeah.
Things that have really shaped us in pretty powerful ways. And I'm excited because during this season I'm going to have a baby girl. So
yeah,
that's I'm really excited about
that's
that.
probably the biggest reason, bigger reason than anything else.
Yeah, and we'll also probably at the end of this season hit our 50th episode, which in less than a year and a half probably. Which is just a really exciting thing. And so we'll probably do a little bit of a commemoration and just for that space. It's also in this season that we will unveil to you the details of our forthcoming Patreon account.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to support us that way, we'll probably have a little bit of bonus content for you. And we love doing this podcast. We love sharing it with others. And we'd love to hear from you. And we love for your support as we continue to try to support you in your as you're running around, working out, on your way to work, whatever it might be, doing the dishes, sitting in a dark room, listening with your arms folded to the beautiful melodious noises and sounds
with
of
the
our
bass high up
voices.
on your EQ.
Yeah. Hunter, I have one last thing I'd like to share, but is there anything that I've missed?
I don't think so. I'm just excited because I love having these conversations, and it is a lot of work, especially the editing. But I mean, that's part of the reason that we, want to do the Patreon, but mainly I'm just happy to be doing again and sharing art and hopefully talking about it in a way that is, more meaningful than we generally hear about it. So
yeah, true.
And also, I mean, I feel like we are really good foils for each other. I don't think you could write better foils than us. Just personally in the way that our personalities interact, and yet how similar we are in our values and things, and these conversations lead me to places that I wouldn't come to by myself, and we're really happy to share them.
Amen. I agree completely. And so, as a final level of excitement, as you're all ordering your copies of East of Eden online. In fact, if you listen through with the series, we're trying to figure out if we can open up like a final episode to give space for those who read it along with us to join in. So if you join in, let us know.
Yeah.
We'd love to find a way to bring you into the discussion. I know that's a thing that I've heard from many people who've listened, is like feeling like the third person, agreeing, disagreeing, adding new comments that they've thought about. We'd love to bring you into that space, especially if you read through this book with us.
Yeah.
And with that, our very first episode of season 3 is going to discuss the book series that has probably shaped me more than any other book series I've ever read. And it just holds a near and dear space in my heart. We're going to discuss it with a very good friend of mine, who I'm excited to introduce to you in our first episode. We are going to be discussing the first 2 or 3 books of The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, finished by Brandon Sanderson. We will give space to talk about the adaptation by Rafe Jenkins that's currently going on Amazon Prime. And we will discuss the series as a whole, as well as some of the specifics about those pieces. So get excited for that episode. It'll be coming up in not too long from now.
Yeah.
Can't wait to talk to you all again then.
Follow me down this road. You won't get lost, 'cause I know just the way to go. If you don't like your name, you can just change it.